Surge community. Thanks for attending this week's watch party. Feel free to post your questions in the comments section below because Charles will be here along with us to answer them as we go. Today, I am speaking with Charles Elwood. Charles is one of the most active entrepreneurs in the Surge community. Not only does Charles run his own company, Solismatica, but he leads a lot of great initiatives in the region, one of which is 3DC19. Born out of the COVID crisis, 3DC19 is a collective of individuals and companies who are firing up their 3D printers to produce PPE for frontline workers, both regionally and throughout the country. The work they are doing is nothing short of amazing. And Charles, one of the founding members, is here to tell us all about it. So please welcome Charles Elwood. Hi, Charles.
Hi, Amanda.
How are you?
I'm good, keeping busy.
Yes, I see that you've been keeping really busy. I mean, I watched the numbers on your website about how much PPE you're producing and for who, and it's like I see like 33,000, individual pieces, I guess. I mean, you're going to tell us more about that. But before we get into that, please just, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Charles Elwood. I'm a co-founder of an initiative called 3DC19, which is 3D printing, and we have injection molded PPE that we're sending all over the nation. Prior to this, though, I started about a year ago a company called Solismatica, and we do business intelligence and data analytics for companies. And I was doing that kind of all over the world too. And I also, my other hobby, side passion is STEM education. And I'm a maker or a member of the Lakeshore Makers here in Holland, Michigan. And we're, enthusiasts of new technology, and we like to make stuff and solve problems. And one of the things we used to do is gather as a group and bring our 3D printers in. And so I knew of about 10 3D printers in town. And, the whole idea was, can we get these together and start printing PPE for the crisis? So
yeah, that's great. So what like triggered it? Did you just see like what was going on and the need, or were people asking for it? And then how did you, pull together this group and maybe tell us a little bit about all the people that are involved?
Sure. So it was March 22nd. I was sitting at home and I was reading these articles about in Italy how they were a couple companies 3D printing valves for ventilator projects. And I thought, wow, we have 3D printers here in town. I knew of 10 of them. So I posted a LinkedIn message and I said, anybody have a 3D printer that's sitting around that we could utilize the capacity to print something important for our front lines? And amazingly, by the end of the day, 20 people had signed up. So that was more than I thought. I thought there'd be 10. Now there's 20. The next day, 5. The next day, 10. And then on Tuesday, another group had formed up in Muskegon. Jeff Robinson at Hybrid Machine, Perception Engineering was involved in that, and Chris Kaminsky was in that group. And they had 40 printers. I had 40 printers. We decided that, I think, Tuesday to merge. And so now we had 80 printers in our group. And we merged databases. And then I networked with, because of the Techstars Startup Weekend, I met Winston Hofer, and he had a marketing company. And he's like, I want to volunteer and do your website. So another connection was made. And he put up a website, and then I mapped out I'm an engineer at heart, so I had a system diagram, and I had all the funnels feeding our system. So we had, we needed money, so donations. We needed raw materials. We had that funnel. We had 3D printers, which was the supply of the 3D printed parts. And I mapped this all out, and I think I called Jeff from the other group, and I showed him this kind of network. So he said, this is brilliant. Let's parse this out. We have 6 people. So we kind of divided up the tasks. And then Winston put up this great website with forms to bring in all the data into one place so we could advertise a single point of contact. And then it just went viral and grew from there. And we had a whole bunch of volunteers, Alicia White, Winston, of course, on our marketing team. James Talk. These were all people I met in our community that helped us spread the word, and was kind of our marketing team. So we even had a marketing like department team that was spreading the word. So when this all came together, it resulted in, 4 weeks later today, we have, I think, 35,000 ear savers, or the face shields that are 3D printed, that we shipped out. Last week we had injection molding for the face shields kick on, and we went from a capacity of maybe 800 to up to 3,000 per day of those. So our capacity tripled. So I think we've shipped to 260 organizations around the country: New Orleans, Detroit, South Dakota, North Dakota, New Hampshire, all over the place. We have 3D printers from all over the nation. We have a couple in Vancouver, in Toronto, one in Brazil, and they're St. Louis. We just have 3D printers everywhere that are printing.
All of these, I mean, you had your natural connections, but
right.
All these other states, I mean, how did these people find out about it?
Social media is amazing when people resonate with the story and they pass that on. And I asked that same question. There was a school district in Dripping Springs, Texas, that signed on, 10 of their printers and they ship us stuff. And I was like, how did you hear about us? And it's like, oh, I think it was a Facebook post. So social media just grabbed our story and our message and our website and just spread it throughout the world. Yeah.
And you've been doing a really great job of that, because I see on LinkedIn that you're posting and you're tagging people and you're keeping everybody updated. And I see so much interaction with your posts of people, commenting and sharing. And so, congrats on doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So I know that you're working with Jeff, but also Jordan Vanderham he was doing something where he's one of our entrepreneurs also he was making masks through Arundi for really cold weather type situations. And he was involved somehow, because I know now he's switching to making N95 masks. Do you know anything about his situation and how he was involved with you?
We still have him involved. He's, of course, very busy and we support his new mask initiative. So yeah, he was doing the Arundi mask, and he was our technical department. So we had him and Chris Kaminsky, and any questions about the 3D printers went to him. And he started with initiative by using his laser cutter to cut the clear plastic for the shields. And we sent anybody with a 3D printer. So we had 400 printers, and they all had questions. So we sent it to Jordan and Chris to answer those questions. So he was heavily involved with that. And then when he started out building his masks, N95 masks, he needed some prototypes built. So he said, can we utilize the 3D printer farm that you have now set up to help build some prototypes? So we jumped right on that, because tooling for him would be weeks out. So we printed a bunch of prototype parts for him and sent it to him so that he can continue this work. So we've had a bunch of these like sub initiatives that have kind of joined our group, because we're kind of the central platform for fundraising. So kind of like Jeff Robinson is working with a group, Dugan Carnasas, on an open ventilator project, and they designed this thing, and it's in 48 hours. It was on TV. It was a bunch of people, I think about 6 people. And they need some funding too. And so 3DC19 said, well, we're raising money through our initiatives. We want to support you too, because you're on the same mission. So we help with that. We help Jordan with the 3D printers. He helps us with technical support. So it's like this, we have so many synergies and so many people helping out. It's been incredible. Yeah.
So that must be a bear to coordinate. I mean, I know, I'll just give a really great example of how Lakeshore Vantage interacted, because we've been helping with PPE with our manufacturers and helping to get them into the procurement system for the state, and also really trying to understand the demand side, and had a conversation with Allegan County Emergency Services, and they said that they needed 1,000 face shields. So I emailed you. I'm like, hey, do you guys have 1,000 face shields? You're like, I don't know. Let me check with Jeff. And then Jeff emailed me. He's like, yeah, they're ready to be picked up, 40 boxes. And then the police chief was like, okay, we're going to send a cadet over to get them. And I was like, it was like in a blink.
Yeah.
it happened. I mean, how does that happen? And then even thinking about that throughout the country, and I know you're taking donations for raw materials, but how do all the logistics happen of people getting their materials and then producing and then delivering them to the right people?
Yeah, it's been so kind of that map that we drew out, and we took our 6 people, and Jordan and Chris were R&D, and then the raw materials has been an interesting one where Stephen Wieringa at Perception Engineering has managed all of that. So that's been a huge challenge. Every single day there's a new roadblock. I remember one day we were running out of plastic shields. That's one of the hardest things to get. So I tapped our network of 3D printers, and Jeff and Stephen and I are also, and Chris, everybody, Jordan, are all very well networked. So we sent a message out to our network, and I sent a message out to our 3D printer fleet, which is 400 people strong. And I said, emergency situation. We have no clear plastic for tomorrow. Our line's going to be down, and everything we're printing is now going to sit around, and we're not going to get it to the front lines. And it was so amazing because probably within, 4 or 5 hours, we had word that a pallet load of rolls, of clear plastic rolls, was coming to our dock, and the next day it showed up, and we had that material. Same thing happened with the PLA, which is used for the 3D printers. We said, we're going to run low. Does anybody have any? Makatawa Plastics said, I have 500 kilograms, which is a huge amount. And that just showed up on our dock. That over this past weekend, we had 2, like you said, there were large orders coming in now. So there were, I remember 2 pallet loads of 1,000 masks. So they're 2,000, and they sat in our warehouse for over the weekend. And Jeff called me and he said, Charles, we need help with getting these to, I think, Pine Rest and Mary Free Bed. And so I emailed Jane Clark and you, and I said, we need help. We have these pallets sitting here. And I remember within, I think it was within a couple hours, Helen Zrip at Teddy's Transport said, I'm picking them up tomorrow. Don't worry about it. In On Time, John Lanning at In On Time said, I'm going to the injection molders, picking up another 2,000 and bringing them to your distribution center. So it's been, because we're all on the same page, we are all aligned on the same values. Like you said, an order comes in for 1,000 and it's filled almost immediately. Another story, Spectrum Health needed 5,000, and they said, how many can we pick up tomorrow of the ear savers? And we sent a message out to our fleets, like, bring in all your ear savers. The next day we delivered 2,000. 2 days later, that Friday, we delivered 5,000 ear savers. So it's just everybody's tearing down all their roadblocks because we just want to help the front lines and save people, and people are just volunteering to help.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what are these ear savers?
Yeah, I wish I had one handy, but basically we've been hearing from a lot of doctors, nurses, and anybody on the front lines and manufacturing places now that wear the N95 mask, the elastic tugs on the ears. And after wearing those for, some nurses have been saying 12-hour shifts, that tugging on the ears just makes your ear turn red, and there's so much pressure on the ears. So we built these things that go on the back of the ears that relieve the pressure off the ears. So it's like an adapter, and you just put the pressure on that adapter instead of the ears. So, we started making those because it saves some pain for the frontline workers, and we didn't want them to go through pain. The other thing is we had the injection molding kicked in for the face shields. So we're like, well, we don't want to do redundant work with our 3D printers. So we jumped on to the next gap, which was ear savers. And then, we looked 2 weeks ahead, and now we're having plans for injection molding the ear savers. And then, now we're looking ahead. It's like, well, once the injection molding kicks in for ear savers, we need the next 3D printed product. So we're looking even more ahead for that.
Yeah. So what do you think that's going to be?
We're not sure. So there's different things that the hospitals have been requesting. There's, kind of like the keypads and the door handles. There's a lot of touching going on with that stuff. So, maybe maybe something to help with keypads, maybe a push button type deal. So something small that can be 3D printed, but something that can avoid, transferring touch
Touching.
and germs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So what other, I know you talked about Spectrum and the police department. What other organizations, regionally that we might be familiar with have you been producing for?
Yeah, we had just yesterday, we had an order from McDonald's. So that's what I was talking about. It's kind of interesting because we see the demand charts. We can kind of see the shift in demand. So initially it was nursing homes and hospices, and we were supplying that. And then the second week, hospitals like Cherry Health, Mercy Health, Holland Hospital, Spectrum have all jumped in kind of in the second week. And then interestingly, dental, we're still doing a lot of social work and dental. Police departments came in, Allegan Fire Department, I think. Like you said, there's sheriff's departments. And just recently, Device Manufacturing, there was McDonald's, and then General Motors just yesterday came in with a large 1,000-piece order.
They're ordering from you?
Yeah.
So they're making their own.
Yeah, they're making stuff, and they.
So are they ordering for their employees or for?
I believe so. Yeah, they must have turned on to make, and I think they're making PPE too. So they must be.
That's why I was like, really?
Yeah.
So that brings me to my next question, because I know there's a transition going on now where we were really focused on healthcare and frontline, and that's still. But I think that's starting to come into itself. I know even the federal government is supposedly bringing a lot of that to bear for the states. But now people are going back to work.
Yeah.
And just like General Motors trying to protect their employees, I know that the same thing is happening here as companies start bringing back their workforce. Of course, they want to make sure they're protected. And that's been, a focus now that we're shifted to at Lakeshore Advantage. And I know that you've been working with Lakeshore Advantage on this. So can you talk about that?
Sure. So, Mandy called me yesterday with an introduction from you and Emily, and we talked. And she's trying to set up kind of a platform to connect the supply chain and the demand side of things. Very similar to what we're doing, and we're kind of an early indicator. We're watching demand, and as I see the demand shift to manufacturing, I connect those because we've built that platform now. I can now connect them with Mandy because we even see requests for things that we don't make, like the masks and gloves and stuff. And so we have companies that have never, bought this stuff before, so they don't know where to go. And then we have new suppliers that were making furniture, that were making, tools, tool and die type equipment that are now switching over to PPE, and they don't know how to connect with. So we have two sides of the market that don't know where the suppliers and where the demand is. So we already have kind of a network built up, a platform, and then we're partnering with Lakeshore Advantage, Mandy, who's going to build up the platform for the rest of the PPE. So it's since we have this, we have early indicators, and we can pass that information on and work together. And then we were talking to Mandy, and if she has ear saver demand or face shields, she can pass them to us. So it's a great relationship because we have pieces of information that we can work together to fill the puzzle.
Yeah. So where do you see this going? I mean, 3-6 months from now, is this just like, this is something that, you've set up just for the duration of this crisis, or do you see this becoming an organization of some kind going forward?
Yeah, I definitely think that we have started something that can become an organization. I think the unique thing about this group is that we've built the trust relationships with many of the people that need the PPE, and then they've seen our quality, they've seen our work. I think initially there's a lot of fear about having a distributed supply chain like this, but like Spectrum Health, Holland Hospital, they've come to trust our quality. We have inspection, we have assembly, we have a dip and dry process to sanitize everything. So this group of 6 really thought through everything up front, and it made it so easy on the back end. And kind of like you said, we have individuals that are in charge of things and we don't step our boundaries. We just kind of said, we're skilled at this, we're going to own this. And like Stephen, if I have any raw material requests, I'm not skilled in supply chain, raw material, and logistics. So I just route it to Stephen, and he within minutes he takes care of it, right? Or R&D, we could send that to Chris and Jordan. We just know where to go with stuff because we drew this map out, and it's made it so efficient that I think we have a system that can be carried forward and can scale. We've already seen it scale within 3 weeks. We went from 10 printers to 400 printers, and I think we can grow this even further.
Yeah, it's great. And it is voluntary, right? So you still have to run your business and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's going to be a challenge as well, right? As this grows,
right.
Focusing on.
So yeah, I was telling somebody yesterday, I actually, because of this, I haven't been paid in 2 months for my other business. So this is all volunteer right now, but I told that person too, is like, I get paid now in a network of friends, of trusting relationships. I get paid now in potentially saving somebody's life or extending their time so that, what's really sad is, right, you hear about the stories of people that potentially have to die alone. And, in our hearts, Jeff, me, Stephen, Chris, Jordan, we wanted to help those people. We wanted to, if there was an opportunity that our PP&E could help protect somebody and extend their time so that they could, spend time with family, we wanted to do that. And that was more important to us, right, than the pay. So we were able to volunteer our time to this effort. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thanks for that. So what do you need? How can people get involved?
Yeah, so we've set up a nice website, 3dc19.com. If you have a 3D printer, go sign it up. It's a quick, easy process. We just send you register, and then we send you the STL files, and you can participate right away. And the other thing that's beautiful about this platform is so many people have thanked me because if they're furloughed or they've lost their job, they've been able to participate and make an impact through our platform. We've enabled participation in this like very human effort. You can also donate money if you don't have a 3D printer. So we still need money for especially shipping costs. Since we ship all over the nation now, we've shipped to Hawaii too. That gets expensive. And then the other one is if you know people that need PPE, especially the ear savers and the face shields. Since we're making large quantities now, we're starting to build up inventory. So we need people to continue to spread the word and tell people that we have this. And the other fear is, hospitals, if you order from us, the manufacturing, you won't get, you're taken away from the hospitals, which isn't true right now. The hospitals are ordering big quantities, but since we have injection molding with 3D printers, we actually have inventory built up. So if people need them, go ahead and order them because we want to help as many people stay protected as possible. So we have excess inventory for people now.
That's great. Cool. Well, any last thoughts or parting words?
I think that just for the other fellow entrepreneurs out there, and maybe I can answer some of the questions during our watch party, but the first week, the first few days, lots of lost sleep, lots of fear going through my mind, going through Jeff's, all of us that are involved. Jordan, you can talk to every one of us. There was stuff like lawsuits, and there was stuff like other competitors are going to do injection molding before us, and that obsoletes us. What if nobody orders from us, right? But I think we understood our why, which was we're going to do anything we can to save and protect as many people on the front lines as we can. And that drove, since the six of us just had that as our vision, as what we wanted to do, it didn't really matter. The fears didn't matter anymore because we just wanted to help people. And when you have single alignment, and that's what made it so easy, because a lot of people are like, what's the hardest part of this? It's like, well, the hardest part is it's scary to manage a group so big. It's grown to probably 400 individuals working together collectively. And it's scary to manage like that. I've had days where I'm like, I don't feel comfortable about this. But, when you go back to your why, it's like, we are here to help as many people as we can. And then you get the support, all these companies donating and saying thank you and supporting you. you can overcome your fears and take this journey if you can, define your why and your vision. So that was my parting thought. And I could probably, answer some questions on that. So.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I know. I'm sure. I'm sure it was, you lost some sleep in the beginning
Oh
thinking
my
about
gosh.
it, but you're doing a good thing, so it's going to be rewarded.
Yeah. Thank you, Amanda.
Great. Cool. Well, thanks again for taking the time, Charles. And again, everybody, feel free to post your comments or questions for Charles, and he'll be monitoring this watch party and answering your questions. So until I see you again,
Yep.
take care, good luck, and thanks for all you do.
Thanks, Amanda.
Bye.